The night my parents shut the door in my face. I was standing there with 2 babies, and nowhere to go. No money. No backup plan. And no one coming to save me. My mother looked me in the eyes, and said something I will never forget. But 8 years later, that same woman stood on my property. In front of hundreds of people. Waiting for a check worth millions. She thought I would forgive her. She was wrong. And what I said next left the entire room in silence. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. My name is Emily Carter. And the worst night of my life didn't begin when my husband died. It began when I realized no one was coming to help me survive it. Michael Carter died on a Tuesday afternoon. I remember the exact time, 4:11 p.m., because I was standing in the kitchen warming bottles for my twins, Noah and Lily. The microwave still had 11 seconds left when the phone rang. Gee. I almost didn't pick it up. Something in me already knew. Hospitals don't call like that unless something is very, very wrong. They asked me to come in. They didn't explain. They didn't need to. I drove 40 minutes in silence. No music. No tears. No thoughts. Just the sound of the road under my tires and the feeling that something inside my life had already ended. When I walked into that hospital, I saw it in their faces. That careful kindness. That quiet distance. The kind that only shows up when there's nothing left to fix. Michael was gone. Just like that. 28 years old. And I was 26. With 2 babies at home who still needed bottles in the middle of the night. I signed forms I don't remember reading. I nodded through conversations I didn't hear. And somehow, I made it back home. That night, I sat on the kitchen floor. Between 2 cribs. And I started doing math out loud. Because numbers were easier than grief. Rent. Diapers. Formula. Gas. Daycare. I counted once. Then twice. Then again. Same answer every time. No. There wasn't enough. Not even close. I had 19 days before my lease ended. $400 in my bank account. And no safety net. That night, something shifted inside me. Because I realized something I had never had to face before. I was completely on my own. Except, I wasn't supposed to be. I had parents. I had family. And I had exactly one place left to go. They lived 90 minutes away. Big brick house. Perfect lawn. Seasonal wreath on the door. The kind of place that looks warm. Until you try to walk inside. I drove there with my babies asleep in the back seat. The whole way, I practiced what I would say. I just need 3 weeks. That's all. I'll figure everything out. I just need a little time. I kept repeating it, like if I said it enough times, they wouldn't be able to say no. Because they were my parents. And parents don't turn their children away. Right? I knocked. My mother, Patricia Hayes, opened the door. And she didn't move. She didn't smile. She didn't hug me. She just stood there. Like I was something she hadn't planned for. Something inconvenient. I asked. 3 weeks. A couch. A corner. Anything. Behind her, my father, Thomas Hayes, stood in the hallway. Looking at the floor. Not saying a word. My brother, Jason Hayes, opened his door just enough to see me. Then quietly closed it again. And then my mother folded her arms and said the sentence that would follow me for the next 8 years. "We can't be your safety net, Emily." No hesitation. No apology. No softness. Just final. For a moment, I thought I misheard her. I stood there, trying to make sense of it. Then one of the babies stirred in the car. The porch light buzzed above me. And I realized she wasn't going to change her mind. So I nodded. And I said, "Okay." Because there was nothing else left to say. I carried both car seats back down those steps. One in each hand. And halfway down, the porch light shut off. Like even the house didn't want to see me anymore. I got into the truck, closed the door, and drove. I didn't cry. Not yet. I didn't cry until I crossed the county line. And when I did, it felt like something inside me broke, quietly, permanently. There was one number left. Just one. I called Margaret Carter, my husband's mother. I didn't ask for help. I couldn't, not after what had just happened. I just said, "I'm not doing okay." She listened for maybe 20 seconds. Then she asked, "Where are you?" I told her. "Gas station off Route 9. She said, "Don't move." 40 minutes later, headlights pulled in beside me. Robert Carter stepped out of the truck. Didn't ask questions. Didn't hesitate. He just started moving the car seats. Like he had done it 100 times before. Margaret came around the passenger side. Wrapped my babies in a quilt. And then placed something warm in my hands. A casserole dish. Still hot. I started to protest. To say I didn't want to be a burden. But she stopped me. Gently. Firmly. She looked at Robert and said, "Set 2 more plates. They're ours now." That was it. No lecture. No conditions. No hesitation. Just acceptance. And in that moment, I realized something I wasn't ready to admit. The people who were supposed to love me unconditionally had turned me away. And the people who didn't owe me anything had chosen me anyway. Why? Their ranch wasn't much. The barn leaked. The fences leaned. The bank was already asking questions. But it had something my parents' house never did. It had room for me. And for the first time in days, I could breathe again. Here's what no one ever knew about me. I had spent years building something quietly. A degree in equine science. Night classes. Double shifts. No help. No shortcuts. I understood horses. Not just how they looked, but how they moved. How they adapted. How they carried strength in places others saw weakness. So when I saw that mare, the one everyone else had written off, I didn't see a flaw. I saw potential. Her leg turned slightly inward. Just enough for people to dismiss her. But I watched her move. And I saw something else. Speed. Power. Precision. I asked Robert for time. He hesitated. Then nodded. And that moment was the first decision I made for myself after losing everything. I worked harder than I ever had before. Before sunrise. After dark. Multiple jobs. No breaks. Because fear has a way of turning into fuel. And I was terrified. Terrified of losing everything again. Terrified of being in a position where someone else could decide my fate. So I worked. And slowly, things started to change. The mare improved. Then she competed. Then she placed. Then people started noticing. Calls turned into offers. Offers turned into opportunities. And one day, a woman walked up to me. Confident. Observant. The kind of presence that changes the air in a room. Eleanor Whitmore. She watched my horse run. Then she looked at me and said, "You see things other people miss." And then, "I want to invest in you." 8 years earlier, I would have said yes immediately. But that was before I learned what help could cost. So this time, I did something different. I asked for everything in writing. Every term. Every detail. Every outcome. I hired a lawyer. Even when I couldn't afford one. And I read every line. Twice. Because I wasn't building something temporary. I was building something permanent. And when we signed that contract, I felt something shift inside me. Not relief. Not excitement. Control. For the first time, my life wasn't dependent on anyone else's decision. The calls started slowly. Then all at once. My mother. Patricia. Her voice softer than I remembered. Kinder. Warmer. She asked about Noah and Lily. By name. Like she had practiced it. And that's when I understood something clearly. She didn't come back because she missed me. She came back because she heard about me. Then Jason called. Friendly at first. Then careful. Then direct. He needed money. A bridge. Temporary. Because family helps family. I let him talk. Then I said, I help people who showed up. Silence. Then tension. Then anger. Because he knew exactly what I meant. A few weeks later, I found out everything. An email. Sent by mistake. And in it, the truth. They didn't forget about me. They evaluated me. Called me a bad investment. Said helping me would be throwing money away. But they kept the door open. Just in case. In case I became something. In case I became valuable. That moment didn't break me. It clarified everything. I didn't confront them. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I built. Quietly. Carefully. Every dollar accounted for. Every asset structured. Every decision locked in. Because I knew. One day. They would show up. And when they did. There would be nothing left to take. Then it happened. An offer. $100 million. For everything I had built. And I said yes. But before I signed anything, I made one final decision. Who deserves it? My children. The people who stood beside me. The people who showed up when I had nothing. So I structured everything. Trusts. Ownership. Legal protections. Every dollar assigned. Every door closed. The day of the celebration arrived. Hundreds of people. Investors. Community. And then. They walked in. Patricia. Thomas. Jason. Smiling. Confident. Certain. Like they were about to receive something. I stepped forward. Looked at them. And said, "There's something I want to make clear." The room fell silent. I didn't build this alone. I turned. To Margaret. To Robert. To Noah and Lily. These are the people who stood by me. Then I turned back. And to everyone else. I paused. Let the silence settle. And said, there's nothing left for you. And just like that, everything they came for was gone. Sometimes, the people who walk away from you come back when you win. Not because they love you, but because they see value. And when they do, you don't owe them anger. You don't owe them closure. You don't even owe them an explanation. Just make sure, when they reach for what you built, their hands close on nothing. Welcome to RevengeEcho, where silence turns into strength, and endings speak louder than words. If this story touched you, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you believe loyalty matters, type loyalty below. Don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes, the quiet ones
Thanking
have
you
the
for
loudest
watching
endings.
Revenge Echo channel. Like, subscribe and comment where you are watching from.